Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and today we're going to be doing a pretty significant upgrade to this corner Packard Bell, the Packard Bell Multimedia D132, pretty much a staple of this channel now for the past year or so. And this is, like I said, a significant upgrade because we're not just upgrading the RAM, we're not upgrading even the video card, we're actually going to be upgrading the CPU. Currently, this computer has a 166 megahertz Pentium with no MMX instructions at all. This is the older type. And it works pretty well, but I kind of want to get a little bit of a boost out of here to make this more ultimate in a way. So, I wanted to upgrade this to something with MMX instructions. Unfortunately, this computer uses Packard Bell's PB640 motherboard, which is normally okay, but despite it being socket 7, there's really not many upgrade paths for this. What's in it now, the 166 megahertz Pentium, is pretty much the best you can get on this. And there are BIOS upgrades you can put on here, like from third parties like Mr. BIOS, that will let you install a AMD K6 CPU, but that can be a little bit risky. So I decided to look into something kind of expensive, a little bit out of my price range, but thanks to the grateful generosity of a good friend of mine from somewhere in the UK, no, it's not the Flying Scotsman, I was able to obtain this piece of hardware. So let's go take a closer look at it. In this box is a Intel Pentium Overdrive CPU with MMX instructions. Intel released this CPU in 1997 as a way for users of older systems that had no way of putting a real MMX CPU in their system to have an MMX CPU. And unfortunately, these are very, very expensive to get these days. But thanks to the great generosity of my friend from the UK, I was able to obtain one of these for no cost at all. He bought this for a system of his and wound up not needing it, so he decided to send it my way so this corner Packard Bell can finally get the upgrade it's been needing for a long time. And yes, I'm nervous. Upgrading the CPU is always a risky job, especially on a rare computer like this. A rare vintage computer like this, I may add. But I'm stupid enough to do this. So stick around. We'll go ahead and put this CPU in and see if we can destroy this beautiful computer. Hopefully this won't be the last time we'll ever shut this computer down. Because I do not recommend upgrading the CPU while your computer is still turned on. So, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I opened the computer up off camera because we've pretty much done that enough on camera in previous videos, so you don't need to see that again. Now, the CPU is right here, but to get to it a little bit easier, I'm going to take the sound card out. Man, I'm so nervous about doing this, guys. Okay. There we go. There's our 166 right there with a supposedly, presumably aftermarket Cooler Master fan. So, I'm so nervous. Okay, I'm actually trying a different camera angle that I've never used before. I actually have the tripod up on the workbench. So, let me tell you why I'm weary about doing this. I don't think you can see it or not, but the release lever for the socket here is made of plastic. This is the same type of plastic that was used on the original motherboard in the Packard Bell Legend 1510 Supreme. And I tried to change the CPU out on it back in 2011, I want to say. And I don't know if it was when I was releasing it or putting it back in, this lever right here broke. So I was never able to put the CPU back in the right position, and the board would never work ever again. Even after super gluing the lever back together, which I should have known that wouldn't work. So we are dealing with a risky task right here. Just so I can get MMX instructions. So, here's our MMX here again. Let's first unplug this CPU fan. And here we go. Trying to be very gentle with it. Okay, we're so far so good. I gotta remove this little metal bracket. We're not out of the woods yet, because we still got to put that back down. And that's probably when it will break, if it was to break. These are always hard. Let me grab a flathead screwdriver from over here. Go. Okay, that fan came off. Apparently there's no thermal paste there, but here's our original 166 liberated from the socket. Well, moment of truth. Is it going to fit? Fits like a glove. Okay. We got to deal with this little doohickey again, and let's just hope and let's just pray that it doesn't break, because if this thing breaks, party's over. This computer's dead for good, until I source another motherboard for it at least. Here we go. Got it. Whew. Well, we are good to go. Guess I'll put the sound card back in and we'll test it over here on my test bench and see what happens. Well, we're at the moment of truth. Was this Pentium Overdrive chip's journey across the Atlantic Ocean worth it? Let us find out right now. If I can find the power button. I hear the fan on the CPU. Oh, we got a signal. Yes. Okay, this is a 200 megahertz CPU. That's fine. Now, according to my friend, it's not going to show up and say it's an MMX in the actual post and BIOS. And I don't think you can really see the screen all that well, but I can move the camera around a little bit. Too much of a sun glare. So, there we go, 200 megahertz Pentium. I say this was a success. This is the only official way to get an MMX CPU on a Packard Bell PB640 motherboard. There are other ways, like putting a AMD K6 in it, but that is kind of risky. And I did consider doing that until I was offered this CPU for free. So again, this is, since it's the safest option, it's the one I went with. Okay, it's not used to this monitor. I don't have speakers hooked up. Alright. Let's go to DX Diag and see if it'll give us any more information. There we go. Intel Pentium MMX. This was a success, folks, and I am very happy. Very happy. And yes, I am using a S3 video card in here along with the Voodoo card. So great. So none of my worst fears came true. Let's get this put back in its regular home, and let's have some fun with this computer. Okay, we're all hooked back up in our regular home. Now, the first thing I want to try is a little game of Roller Coaster Tycoon, which runs well enough on the hardware that was in here before. But with the MMX, it should work a lot more reliably and smoothly. So, let's just load the ISO. I have Damien Tools on here. Yes, I know I need to turn the color depth up. This is a game that, if I'm not careful, I'll wind up spending all day playing. It's so addicting. So far it feels about the same as the non-MMX CPU. Probably needs a better video card for this to run smoother. But it's still good to have this CPU in here now. And this is a park I created. Build a ride. 'Cause why not? Good spot for it. I built this park all by myself. This might work. Go. That runs well enough, I think. Especially once it's loaded up. So, I want to try one more game. This is a game I've never really had much experience with, but it's one that I've heard quite a lot about. And it's supposedly the greatest game ever created. It's from what I've heard, but a little game called Pod, which is a futuristic racing game, and it's enhanced for MMX processors. And I actually already have it installed on here. Probably have to use the CD, but we'll have to wait and see.
It'll be over soon. Everything will be gone and this place will be forgotten.
Well, this is depressing. Can we skip that? I tried running this game on here before, but it was kind of choppy, and it needs its CD-ROM. It needs its precious CD-ROM that I probably don't have anywhere nearby. I'll be right back. Okay, put the CD in. I hope it's the right CD. Okay, guess it was the right one. But anyway, I remember trying this game before on this computer, and it was really, really choppy. I don't know if it was something to do with the graphics card I was using at the time. I was using the built-in graphics, and but I was using the Voodoo 3 though. Not the Voodoo 3. That's the other computer. I was using the Voodoo 1 though, but it was still kind of choppy. Now I've got a S3 4 meg 3D video card in here and an MMX. We might be a little bit better off. And I believe this version is actually enhanced for Voodoo cards. Okay, just use the joystick. Alright, first time playing Pod. Again, I'm just doing this blindly. I know there's a huge community around this game. I know LGR really loves it. Oh, we'll go with that car. I need to quit kicking that tripod. Joystick is not working. Well, at least it's playing, but something's not right with the joystick. So see if we can see what the problem is. Oh, it's uncalibrated itself. Okay, well, I thought I got it working, but now I can't get it out of reverse. Wow, this game does not want to cooperate with this joystick. Maybe I need to start a new game and just not go into reverse, cause you'll never be able to get out of reverse ever again. Yeah, I think this joystick is not acting right, and I've never had any problems with it. It's the good old-fashioned Sidewinder 3D Pro. Okay, there we go. Not a bad game, I must say. when I'm not crashing into walls. Yeah, this game has a very, very strong following to this day. I believe it came out in like 1996, 1997. And I actually have this sealed in the box. I might have to unbox it on camera sometime. Yeah, it's not acting nearly as choppy as it was before. I know this game will run if you don't have an MMX CPU, but it's best to have one for this. See, I'm gonna have to play this again sometime. Whoa. I've tried installing this on newer computers, like Pentium 3 systems running Windows 98, but for some reason, while I can get it to work, well, get it to install, that is, I can't get it to run. And I put it in reverse and I can't get back out of reverse again, so game over, I guess. I just don't know what's up with this joystick. Yes, I know it's the wrong way. You think I can help that? So yeah, I guess that's as far as we can go in this game. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that joystick. How did the monitor get out of... Oh, okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm very thankful to have this in here. This was such a generous donation. I am very, very glad to have this. I have some of the best fans in the world, seriously. And he also sent me something else to go along with the CPU. It's another CPU. This one is a AMD K62, another Socket 7 CPU. Now, while this will physically fit into this computer, it will actually fry the motherboard. He actually put, I believe, this same CPU into his PB640 motherboard with the unofficial BIOS to get that to work, and it destroyed the motherboard. So, I obviously won't be using this in this computer, but I will save this for a future project whenever I come across a computer with a motherboard that will take the CPU, so I will keep that on hand for when that day comes. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off. Thank you for visiting the Nostalgia Mall. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like. The link to all of these are down below. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off.